Before this video starts, I would like to say a few things. Firstly, subscribe. Yeah, I know, you've heard this multiple times before, but it's been proven to work. Plus, only this % of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. That's not a lot. If all these people subscribed, I'd be into quadruple digits by now. So if you're not, please do. And also remember to like the video if you do indeed enjoy it, and share it to friends and family members, all that jazz. And secondly, I'm so sorry about the lack of videos recently. I mean, school started, and I made a promise to myself that school will be put first, so I focused on that for a while. Then I tried to make some actual videos, including this one, but then I restarted to make it easier to edit with my new editing software, which I'm unfamiliar with. So I restarted, and obviously that is gonna take some time, yada yada yada. Now let's get on with the show. I'm a Lego now, by the way. Don't question it. But that does work a lot with this video, because I'm talking about Legos. So basically I have this list for whenever I have an idea for a video. I just quickly write it down so I could think more about it later. And on that list, which has been there for a while now, is simply the word Lego. I really wanted to talk about Legos in some way, but I never really thought about how I would, until a few months ago. I got nostalgic for Lego Batman 3. Not the first game, which is usual for a lot of people. It wasn't a real part of my childhood. But Lego Batman 3 was, and I got specifically nostalgic for the character creator in that game. So I started up the game to play around with that for a while. That's when I noticed I didn't have the option to, because I didn't get that far in the game. So then I was like, okay, I'll just play the game until I get to that point. Then after an hour or so, I realized how long these games could be. And then I was planning to get off the game and call it quits, but I didn't. I kept playing, and I remembered how fun these games were. So I was hooked. And it wasn't just Lego Batman. I went through all my old Lego games, and then it clicked. I could make a video on Lego games. So let's go.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when we're part of a team. Everything is awesome when we're living our dream. Everything is better when we stick together. Side by side, you and I gonna win forever. Let's party forever. We're the same, I'm like you, you're like me. We're all working hard, money. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when we're living our dream.
So, what is a Lego game? A video game with Legos, obviously. But it's not just that. I mean, is Lego City a Lego game? Well, I don't know. I haven't played it before. But what I mean is, by the definition I'm using, games like Lego Creator are not Lego games. But that doesn't answer the question, what is a Lego game? Well, a Lego game is a video game where you play as a minifigure and you progress through the game by solving puzzles to reach particular platforms, jumping across gaps and fighting bad guys. As you do this, you can unlock new Lego characters, locations, and play modes. But that's just a definition I found online. But it works. And they also have these things. Which makes sense, trust me. So Lego Island is a Lego game, but it's not a Lego game. And these Lego games all started with Lego Star Wars. This game was an amazing thing to make. They made it to coincide with the release of Star Wars Episode 3, which made a lot of people think it was gonna be a movie game, which at the time was a bad thing. No one wanted to play a stupid cash grab, which in a way is still a common train of thought. Unless it's a Lego game, which is ironic at this point. But I digress. And if you play Lego Star Wars now, you will notice that literally everything is exactly like a modern game, besides the graphics and the eyes. Why were they so far apart? That's not how Legos look, just put the eyes a little closer together. Anyway, this game was revolutionary, and it sold well, and you know what that means. Indiana Jones. They made Lego Indiana Jones, and it was just like Lego Star Wars. creating a trend of these games for a long time to come. And recently, when I got back into these LEGO games, I realized how much these games try to recreate the feeling of playing with Legos. And even though I got nostalgic for LEGO Batman 3, I never really played it, but that one game did get me into other LEGO games. For example, the LEGO Movie, the video game. And this is the first LEGO game I actually beat, which brings me to a truly iconic aspects of these LEGO games, the character selection. So basically, the way this usually works in games is that you unlock characters when you play as them in levels. Of course, that's not what always happens, but that's usually the case. And the reason I chose the LEGO Movie, the video game specifically as an example for this, is because of the wide range of characters unlockable. I'm getting to that. I mean, you could play as Batman, Superman, Abraham Lincoln, Cleopatra, Gale, the Statue of Liberty, Michelangelo, the artist, not the turtle. Oh, and Emmett again. Emmett, 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 Emmett. Why are there so much of these? Fembot? That seems offensive somehow. I don't know why, but it just does. Anyway, after you unlock these characters, you can play as them on a little thing called free play, which is one of the great aspects of these games, especially in LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. You could play as any character you want, and if you complete the game and unlock every character, you can play as them to complete old missions or make up your own. And adding on the aforementioned customizable characters, you can really make up your own stories, just like you do when you're playing with real Legos. And that's why these games are so fun, because you get to play with Legos, but this time you are the Legos. What? Oh, that's funny. Anyway, this feeling of playing with Legos isn't just limited to characters and worlds. It's about what you do in those worlds. For example, you build. Wow, great golly jolly holly dolly mixed border collie ollie low poly volley wally bolly lolly gee Batman. Did you know you could build with Legos? So yeah, obviously this is a thing you do in LEGO games. And I'm not trying to use this to show correlations between video games and actually playing with Legos. That would just be a cheap shot. But before LEGO Star Wars, you really didn't build in LEGO games, which is strange, right? Like in LEGO Island or LEGO Pizza Delivery or whatever it's called. You didn't really build as far as I'm aware. You just lived in a LEGO world as a LEGO character. So obviously when the first LEGO Star Wars was being created, the people at Big LEGO said,
"Ayo, dude, what's up? We should totally be able to build in LEGO games."
Oh, kinda like how you do in real life.
Oh yeah, totally. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Then what in the ding-dang brick-based plated LEGO world were you thinking about?
IKEA?
You know, because they're from Sweden. So they added building to the games, and now we have this beautiful sound effect. It's just so lovely. And obviously, it's not just the building aspect of these games. There's also the way you die, and the funny. Now, while dying in these games may be infuriating, why? Now I'm just gonna lose all my studs over and over again, and I'll never be able to afford Arachnido Jr. But you may notice that their heads pop off and all their limbs come apart. And I don't know about you, but whenever I played with Legos and I made up my own stories, whenever I killed a character off, I would always tear them limb by limb. And maybe you did too. I obviously don't know, so if you did, tell me in the comments, I guess. I know this is such a genius and sneaky way to get more comments in my videos. And with the funny, it's exactly like the comedic genius of a child. And I don't know if you already know this, but a child playing with Legos is exactly like playing with Legos. Now you may be wondering what I mean by this statement. And to explain, I'll just show you 2 clips from LEGO Star Wars. And the comedy in this game is funny for the same reason I thought it would be funny to get a styrofoam head when I was 8 years old. Now you may just pass this off as a weird way to get around the dialogue limitations. In the LEGO Star Wars games, they didn't talk, they just grunted. So when it came to cutscenes, even though they 100% could, they didn't talk in those either. So they basically just pointed at stuff speaking Simlish. And while that may have played a small part in it originally, now they aren't limited with dialogue, and they still use a very similar type of comedy. And LEGO clearly realized the connection between these games and actually playing with LEGO, because they let you make your characters. And yeah, I know I maybe have already mentioned once or twice already, but a very important part of playing with LEGOs is digging through the bin. And mixing and matching pieces of different minifigures to make your own characters. And with this character customizer, you can make some very interesting characters. I made a chicken man.
It's the guy from Fortnite!
He's got the powers of a chicken. For example, he can't fly and his scream is annoying. Oh, and they made a game where you could play the video game with actual minifigures that you could hold. LEGO Dimensions.
LEGO Dimensions? What an obvious ripoff.
Huh? Who said that?
Well, of course it is I, Chaos.
But that's impossible.
Nothing is impossible, poor loser. You should know the sky labels don't die, they just mean rest. And I'm all done resting.
But I banished you. You weren't able to come back.
Ah, well, yes. But with a little help from friends, you can do anything.
Well, why are you here? What do you want from me?
Oh, well, you know, you've been sold.
Huh?
Behold, my magic powers of doom.